Welcome back to the garage. My name's Danny, and today we are going to be putting the OEM short shift kit on the Sportwagon. So this is a European part for the MQ350 transmission. It should bolt on to the Sportwagon 6-speed. This should also bolt on to your GTI 6-speed and your Golf R 6-speed, I believe. Definitely check for compatibility for your car. But from what I've read, this should work with most Mark 7 and most 6-speeds. This is an OEM option. Very similar to, if you're familiar with Mark 4s, where the Audi TT 5-speed shifter was a short shifter option for the Mark 4 Golfs, Golf TDI, Golf 1.8Ts, anything that had an O2J short shifter, that was the option for that until VW discontinued it. I ran those on a few of my O2J transmissions and it was great, so I'm expecting similar results to this. This is a cheaper option than doing like an HPA short shifter or a Shop Dab Holy Shift or a Diesel Geek short shifter kit. So this is directly bolt-on, comes with a brand new shift end linkage, which is great. You will need to do a shifter bushing alignment after the install of this, and that is something I will show you in this video. So stick around. As well, at the end, before I end it, we're going to do GTI pedals. And behind me is for the next video, my continuation of my DIY intake.
So let's get this install started. First thing you got to do, we got to take the airbox out so we can gain access to our shift tower. So what I'm going to do is take the vacuum line off the top half of the airbox with a pick and then take off the secondary air. Now if your car doesn't have secondary air, you won't have those hoses. I'm splitting my airbox because I'm actually going to be cleaning my air filter during the process of this and cleaning pretty much almost everything under the hood because as you can see it is disgusting. I have a drop-in air filter and quickly you can see there it was pretty dirty. You got to take this coolant hose off and this front air duct, so this channels the air to your airbox. And it just comes out with a couple of Torx screws. So it's the same Torx bit, I believe, the entire way around the whole airbox system. And then you just lift this off.
You can see the stock shifter here. Stock boost hose, throttle body, coolant hoses, secondary air hose, battery trays here, and you can see the battery trays actually can be bigger for probably a diesel. So we can uninstall this now. You just need a 13, unclip this clip down here, which I can get you guys nice and close on. But for your guys' sake, I'm going to actually take the battery out so we have more view, and so we can do the turbo muffler delete in the next video. So let me get rid of all this stuff and you guys can watch the time lapse of that.
So first we're going to remove the accordion hose going to the turbo inlet. To gain more room, we're also going to be removing the battery tray. So to remove the battery, it's a 13 mil, and then we got to lift this battery blanket up. Now some cars may not have it as they're in more southern regions, but here in Canada we have battery blankets. I really don't know how much it does, but then once you remove the metal bracket, battery slides out. You can disconnect the terminals, which come off really simply, as well as now we just take all the bolts out that hold the entire battery tray. So more crusty bolts that are full of sand, and this entire tray was disgusting. Putting back the metal bracket and the bolt so I don't lose it, moving anything out of the way, and getting the rest of the hardware out.
So now you guys saw me struggle with the airbox and the battery tray. So this is the battery tray. It's pretty big, and it's got a 10 mil here. This is a 13, and then there's a 10 in the middle, and there's a 10 right here at the very back. And see the way it's notched. So it's just this is just the nut, where the rest are actually bolts. And then you're probably going to want to wash this while you got it out, because it's a good chance to do that. I took the complete airbox out to get as much room, and just so you guys can see as much as possible. Here's our shifter tower. Our motor mount, if you're going to do that. This is the shifter bracket. These are your cables coming up from your shifter. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to lock the shifter in its home position. I'm going to make sure it's not in gear in the car. It's actually in gear. So now it's out of gear, and you probably saw the shifter move. So now it's out of gear. There is a lever down here, and I think you guys can just see that. So what you got to do is there's a lever just below this plug here, and this would be probably your fill port on this transmission. So let's lock the transmission. So this little lever moves up and slides in and locks, but you'll feel it when it locks. So you kind of have to. So it's usually in the downwards position, and then we're tilting it up and it goes in, and you'll feel it lock in as you're kind of pushing in and out the shifter. I'll do it one more time, but you can see right here it's in the locked position, and I will get a picture of that and put that on the screen. But right now we're in the locked position. Okay, so this is the pin I'm talking about right here. See, this is it in the locked position. You can't move the shifter tower now. So now we got to go in the car and lock the shifter itself. So let's go in the car. We got to take the shift boot off. I've never done that on this car, and let's hopefully not break it. Okay, so now we're in the car, and we got to take the shift boot cover off. And from what I understand, this should just... Ooh. Wow, it just lifts out. Okay, cool. I felt like I broke it. Everything looks good. Okay, great. So just lift from the front, it pops off, and then if you want to change your shifter, you just take this clip off, and then this guy slides out. It looks like someone's been in here before. There's a bunch of cables in here. It looks like this has all been messed with before. The good thing is, there is where we slide in a 4 or 5 mil Allen. There is a special VW tool, but it looks like someone completely dragged this. But see, this has got to go into that hole to lock the whole thing. So let's go get an Allen. So I found my Allens. We're just going to pull this boot back. Now yours, if it hasn't been mangled by someone previous to me, then it wouldn't be like this. You guys can see the 4 goes in and then slides in. And then our shifter is relatively locked as it can be. So there we go. Now that the shifter is in the locked position, not only in the cabin, but it is also locked at the car, we need to dismantle the shifter a bit. So we need to take, this is the lever for forward and back, and that's what's getting shortened. So this is coming new with the new short shifter. So what we do is you actually, let me get the short shifter and I can show you. It's a little harder when they're dirty, but basically you take the shifter end and pull it back and then turn it. And that's the lock position. So that's how you can get the cables in and out. So we're going to do that with this one. They are a bit, there we go. And then turn. And then what we're going to do with this guy, I need to see what the clip is on that. That's a very strange clip. There we go. Okay. Oh, I see how this is. So this is the clip on the slider. So this is the clip that comes off this slider pin. You can see the slider pin that I took this off of. So you just have to open this. So you just have to open it up so it slides off and gets off those barbs. That's the trick with this. Now go put this somewhere safe. Don't want to lose that. Now we can slide that out, and now we can disconnect the actual shifter itself. And these are a 13. They're tightened to 25 Newton meters, and do not over tighten them because you can break your shift tower, and you do not want to break your shift tower. I've never broken a shift tower, but I had one. Oh my God, this wasn't even tight. What the hell? Why was that not tight? That's out, that's out. And then these should just lift off. You just gotta rock it a bit and just be gentle with it. It should come off. So this is my wiper puller, and it works really well for this kind of stuff because this is small. You don't want a lot of torque on it. Anyway, so this has got a center, and it just grabs. And that's it. There we go. Nice and gentle. This way we're just applying nice gentle force. We're not forcing anything. We're not grabbing anything. And our shift lever is now out. Let me zoom out for you guys. There's our shift lever. So that's the old crusty guy. Compare that to the new hotness. Wabam, there we go. And just for a visual difference, you can see where the shift pickup points are, like I was saying earlier. See the way this one's further in, closer to the rotation. So now this one's further out, causing a longer throw. So that's how you get the shorter throw, by just moving this in. So if you're clever, you could just shave this down and punch this out and drill a new hole or add a new pin. So anyways, let's put the short shifter in. And also, you can't mess up installing these, as these are keyed. So let me see if I can get that shot of that. So these are actually keyed. And do we want to focus? There you go. So you can see that they're keyed. So you can't mess up installing them. There we go. Should just slide in. It should take 0 force. Now I did read someone said to grease that. I think it was Shop Dab. I'm going to take that pin, plastic pin. This is a plastic pin that holds that slider on. I really don't like that design, but I mean, it works, so I can't complain. We're going to put our crusty, dirty nut back in. You might be wondering, oh, Dan, why aren't you cleaning this as you go? Well, I mean, it's just the nut. It's okay. Okay, let's go get my torque wrench. All right, so there's my dirty pedals. Doing the gas and the clutch and the brake pedal are generally very easy, but doing the dead pedal will require some dismantlation. So what we have to take apart for the dead pedal is actually pulling this plastic off. Let me move you guys. So for the dead pedal, we'll have to actually lift this up and take the handle out of here. But let's first do the easy ones, and then I'll get all to the dismantellation of my interior. Okay, so the short one. All right, so we figured this out. Clutch, get brake, gas. That's easy enough. Okay, so the brake pedal, there's nothing on it, so we can probably just slide this guy over it. Oh, or not. Wow, that, okay, from the bottom. Oh, wait, from the bottom, and then line up the hole. And it's on. Holy shit, that was easy. Oh. Wait, the brake is metal and the clutch is plastic? Why? Hey, guess what? These pedals are made in China. So these are essentially OEM because they're made in China. They're in. Wrap it around. Is it wrapped around? Yes. There we go. I don't know how much you saw of that, but essentially, I don't know how to explain it, but it had the lip, and you had to basically hook it over the lip, is what I was trying to get it to do. So you had to basically hook it around the pedal, and now we're just making sure it's totally seated on the pedal so it doesn't slide off. And we got pedals. Okay, cool. Pedals installed. Wow. Those look a lot better, even without the dead pedal. Not bad for a totally toolless operation. And then you're only left with 2 old rubber pedals, as the gas pedal's completely plastic and the clutch pedal's plastic. So I guess the next step is we pull this trim out. So first things first, we can pull this panel out. These should just pop in and pop out. Yep, it's all just plastic clips, and that releases. Oh, lovely, lovely. I'm just ignore what I just found. We also need to take off our There we go. Now I gotta find the piece. So the piece fell off, and then I'll show you what I did. So what I was fighting with, so this is what I was fighting with, right? So you have the handle here, and the clip goes into here. So I was digging my screwdriver in here and pulling it outwards. Okay, this is what I was trying. This is what I was fighting with, and then I almost broke everything. See how it's there? You don't see it. It pushes in, and it's locked in like that, and it goes around this to hold it in. So what I was doing with like a flathead or a pick is I was going in like this on an angle, and then pulling it out. And then once that's pulled out, you can release this from the car. Like, what the heck holds it in the bottom? Old and busted, new hotness. Awesome, let's go. Let's just figure out what the best way is going to be to install this. Okay, that was easy enough. Oh, wow. Look at that. Awesome pedals. Ugh. These crusty turds and this crusty turd to that hotness. Let's go. I'm stoked. Yeah, looks sick. Now that you've seen all the modifications installed, well, how do they drive? How's the car drive now with everything done? The short shifter is fantastic. It's much like the HPA one I have on my Mark IV R32. It goes into the gears really nicely. Going into first and second isn't like it was before. Before it was like first, second, third, and now it's like first, second, third. It's really, really nice. And I'll insert a clip here of just me just rolling through the gears while I was driving to work earlier this week. And the pedals itself, the pedals are great. It's a nice little addition. It, you know, spruces up the interior, makes the interior look nicer. But not only, the pedals are rubber, and they're a grippy rubber, unlike the stock pedals. We're not as grippy as these. Okay, you get nice positive feedback on your feet, and I absolutely really like that. We'll see how long they last, as these are just AliExpress pedals, but they're so cheap I can just buy another set and toss them on. I'm not too concerned about that. But overall, super happy with how these modifications came out. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's Tony, and we'll see you next time.